Martin's Test Shaves. Good Friday. It's Friday the 18th. Sorry for my absence. I'm even more sorry for not following all my favourite YouTube shave people. So very sorry. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of an unusual shave again because it's my shave test. And I had a few days of just using a rather wretched but rather effective razor, which is of course, I'm just dropping everything. Do excuse me, I'm being an idiot this morning. Yeah, these are wonderful once you've modified them. It is of course very famous as being the Feather Professional Super. But the Feather Professional Super blades aren't much good. They're very, very sharp, very harsh. So I've been using an old Capitan blade. This is of course the Kai, K-A-I, the Kai razor blades, and they are superior. And what I'm trying to get over is the fact that I'd used what should be a very high quality straight razor, and this Kai blade beat it hands down. Now, that's really quite a shock to me. So what I've done today is I'm going to try 3 razors. I'm going to try the Feather Professional with the Kai blade once more, although it's had about 10 shaves. I've been shaving the last week with it, against the resurrected Mastro Livi, which is the one I had trouble with. Now Mastro Livis are strange because they're rather an unusual stainless steel, and you've got to know how to work magic with stainless steel. It could be this was just a bit of I don't know, a one-off, but I couldn't get it to shave as well as a shavette, and that is a terrible thing to say. So anyway, the other test will be using a really proper carbon razor. I'm going to be using this beautiful thing, which is of course extremely desirable, and this is probably one of the most pretty ones I own. This is a Palmera Especial. As you can see, it's completely NOS. It's completely mint. It's got the beautiful Palmera emblazoned logo, and this I'll never get rid of. But anyway, all I'm saying is that I know is a high-end carbon razor, and this is what's been playing me up. This is what's given me the trouble. This is a Mastro Livi. It's a big one. It's a proper full, in fact it's just over 8/8. So it's a fair comparison test because the Palmera is a very generous 8/8. What I was going to say was I even used the Mastro Livi strop, and I lathered the crap out of the edge, and it still wasn't right. So in the end, I used good old Crocs, which I've got here, the green chrome dioxide, and gave it a good lathering on that, so to speak, and of course the canvas back, which is very, very nice. So I hate to say it, but the Mastro Livi paste, there's something wrong with his paste. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't seem to work for me. So enough of this. Dried fingers. Let's start off and see if this Mastro Livi is now going to behave itself. It should. As I say, I spent quite a long time this morning stropping it. Yeah, it's still a little bit grabby. It passed the hanging hair tests. Just, This is about 4 days of stubble, so this is quite a harsh test. I say harsh because you tend to get a little bit more drag when you've got a full 4 days or 5 days. It's 4 days of stubble. Anyway, that's quite acceptable. I wouldn't say it's earth-shattering, but you can see doing a pretty fair job. Anyway, let's now use something which we know is going to work. This is the Palmera. These are Rolls Royce, absolute Rolls Royce. It's a slightly thinner grind. The Mastro Livi is a hollow, but it's not a desperately deep hollow as the Palmera is. At the moment, I would give it to the Palmera. It's on the moustache. Although it's noisy, no, there's no hesitation there. That's pretty good. But this is just the first pass. Well, I'm mildly surprised. So I think I've relivened the poor old Mastro Livi. But what shocked me, which we'll do in a minute, was the fact that in the right design of the holder, the koi blades are very good. So let me just going to wipe the blade, because as we all know, when you've got a high grade steel, carbon steel, if you leave it warm and wet, even for a few minutes, you can start corrosion. We don't want any of that. So what I'm going to try now is just to finish off the first pass in a couple of places with the almost silent. Strange thing, isn't it? That I'm always knocking these, but the super professional blades, I've tried a few times, don't like them. They'll do the job, but they're not as good as the Kai. So anyway, let's just continue a couple of strokes with the feather. I've got to say, it's pretty good. Yes, if stranded, I would say shavette with a decent blade in it. Bearing in mind, this is the feather which I actually manually remachined. This one has got a totally different profile. It's the standard blade isn't very nice. It's or blade or holder, whatever you want to call it. The angles are wrong. So that's one better. That's the pine look. It's not actually pine or oak, whatever you want to call it, but that's the Feather Professional again. Personally, I find this one, which I've reground, which was a standard one, but has now been reprofiled, actually cuts extremely well. Yeah, no two ways about it. Yeah, that's extremely nice. But you haven't got the feel. There's something about these rather skinny little handles that they're just not the same as a decent razor. However, let me just do a comparison. We'll go against the grain with the Mastro Livi. Back on a little tiny bit more lather. The soap is the same I've used all week, so it's a fair comparison. This is of course the Truffet and Hill, which is a very nice, very mild aroma, and a very kind soap. So, you know, I'm all for kind soaps. Some are so strong, the scent on them, I think they can affect your skin. Anyway, I'm not going to keep on whacking on. No, the Mastro Livi's back in true form, no two ways about it. All it needed was a damn good thrashing. And yeah, this is a big razor, but it feels right in the hand, whereas a shavette just doesn't. They do a beautiful job. In fact, I would honestly say a Kai blade in a decent shavette is a wonderful, wonderful shave. It just doesn't feel right. You need a decent man-sized razor, in my opinion. But anyway, that's only my opinion. All my tests obviously are very subjective, but I'm not biased in any way. I've got, excuse the expression, I've got no axe to grind. Right, let's go back and use this absolutely stunning Palmera. I mean, hopefully generations to come will realise what they've missed. And of course, the Palmera was one of the world's best razors. Oh, it's a beautiful razor. Yeah. So we're talking carbon steel here. Probably 1970s. Difficult to say. But Juan Volmeri certainly knew how to make razors. Some people say they're better than Philharmonica. I'd say they're about equal. A good Philly or a good Palmera, very little to choose. But to find one in this condition, with its box, with its paperwork, is unusual. Oh boy, what a pleasure. And being a square point, you can get in anywhere very easily. Yeah. So, Palm Sunday, and here am I being a real revisionist by trying to use the wrong razors, so to speak. This, oh, what can I say? It's just glorious, absolutely glorious. Particularly as I've always been rather partial to this faux tortoiseshell, and this is the only one I know with a faux tortoiseshell. Anyway, let's go back and try a couple more passes, then we're done, and I can leave you in peace. So as I say, a strange week. I was very disappointed by having a stainless steel razor let me down as the way this did. I suspect lack of use, but it just needed refreshing. So yeah, refresh is beautiful. Look at that. But I did give it just now the harshest test. A good 4 days stubble is a pretty hard test. No, it's lovely. So I take it all back. The Mastro Livi needs special attention. It is not carbon steel. It will not behave like carbon steel. So you've got to tweak it just a little bit. And when you do, ironically ending up on a commercial chrome dioxide strop. And it was wonderful. But also, as I say, the fact that if you shave every day, you couldn't do better than this or a carbon. But if you leave it a few days, you are putting them to the test. But that's lovely. So, Mastro Livi, you are redeemed. Yeah, so I'm very happy now. That will go back in its incredibly beautiful olive wood case. Whoa, gloat, gloat, look at that. With the Mastro Livi emblazoned signature, which was also on the beautiful ebony grips. It's also got an inlaid ivory. No, it's an olive wood. Sorry, it's an inlaid olive wood panel with his signature on. And this belonged to the wonderful Gary. And Gary, like me, he found a little bit tedious to come to terms with the strange stainless steel and grind that the Mastro Livi uses. It's a good deep hollow, but it's not a profoundly deep hollow. Whereas, just as a comparison, now that that really is deep hollow. And it sings. So I would still say I was shocked and surprised by this feather, which I've reground. As you can see, it doesn't quite look like the normal feather, but this with a coy blade in it, very, 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 very good indeed. But when it comes to actual feel, rubbish, just rubbish. For feel, you need a proper razor. But for edge, that will take on anything. Anyway, I'm going to have a very quick wipe off with some cold water. Now, wishing everybody a wonderful Easter bank holiday. I've been out slinging and making myself a real nuisance. But there you go. I can't help it. It's my nature. Yeah, that's a good shave. I will use the usual splash, which goes rather well, the Pinard, Clubman Pinard, because it will wake me up properly. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. Don't ask why. There we go. Yeah. It's just got that nice bite to it, which I quite like actually. And it's very lemony. It's a very citrus, lemony, but alcohol bite. But they've put glycerine or something very pleasant in with this, and it gives a nice, smooth after feel. Talking of after feels, the shavettes will give a wonderful shave, but the post-shave feel isn't as good. If you want a really nice shave and a good post-shave experience, I'm afraid you're going to be back to using straight razors. That's why we have a straight razor channel. Anyway, chaps, thank you so much. It's a bit longer than normal, 17 minutes now. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please like and subscribe. I'll see you all very shortly. Bye for now.